anniversary in August. 29 years. Been together.
Okay, here we go. Dimple, I think we're live everywhere now, not just TikTok. Hey,
Woohoo! We've
everyone.
done it! We've done it!
Yay! Amazing. So just to say a massive shout out, everybody joining us now. I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined once again with Dimple Thacker. Dimple, how are you doing first and foremost?
Woo, I am amazing. Amazing, Matt. How are you? I've actually been taking the whole of July off, so I'm only doing the bits of work that I love. So this is one of the bits that I love. So
Yeah, I feel honoured. I feel honoured. So just to be clear, anybody that's joining us live, we're on literally 165 platforms at once, I think, Dimple. We are everywhere. We're probably on Sky News. We're probably on ITV. Who knows at this rate? But wherever you are, please do use this opportunity. For those who don't already know, Dimple is a relationship expert. She's absolutely amazing. She has helped me so much, not just in terms of relationships with others, but relationship with yourself. And I think that is, as we all know, that is the most important, the longest relationship we will ever have. And it is, of course, the foundation to every other relationship. So I'm so grateful to you, Dimple, for all the work you do, for all the help that you have given me. But this is the opportunity for us to give back, right? This is the opportunity for anybody watching live, wherever you are, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on TikTok, please do get your questions in. We're going to be talking tonight anything about challenges within dating, the dating scene, which is a scene I know very well, challenges within relationships, which in particular, Dimple, that is, I mean, how many years married now for you?
it will be 29 in August. We've been together
Wow.
34.
Wow.
34.
Right.
What the hell?
And to be clear, that is a relationship where, you know, we're not saying it's all just been super easy. There has been challenges within there. So you can obviously talk through your wisdom and your experience with that. Hang on, we're saying we're having an issue with Instagram over there, aren't we? But I don't know.
It's
Just
looking.
just to let everybody know, in your team, there is a delay. So I don't know if
Okay.
it all looks fine at my end, but I'm not sure about that. Yeah, because I can see that message. Bear with us, guys. We're doing the best we can, but we're going to learn. We might do some more lives after tonight, and we'll get it right eventually, I'm sure. But this is your opportunity. Anything around dating challenges, anything around relationship challenges.
There's a question on TikTok.
Fab. Let's go straight in. Let's do it.
Yeah. So the question was, so I was asked how long I've been married. That's lovely. What's the secret of having a long marriage, or would you call it a secret? So we can dive in there if there's, unless there's other questions, Matt. Shall we go?
Let's go. Let's go.
Go. Okay. So in answer to this question, there is a secret. There is a secret to longevity in any relationship. And that is, I'm just getting a message from my team that there's a lot of echo.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything we can do. Is everybody on TikTok able to hear us okay?
Yeah.
Um,
People here okay on TikTok.
I can see on Instagram people are saying it all looks fine here. So
Okay.
I think if we just keep going and do the best we can, and then we can
Let's
maybe
do it.
learn from it.
So I'm going to talk about the secret to longevity in a relationship. The secret is, if you're going into the relationship expecting to get something, doomed. You go into a relationship to give. You go into a relationship to get curious. You go into a relationship to expand and grow. And don't expect it to be comfortable. Like, it's not easy. This whole, like, the cinemas give you a really, like, Disney gives you the illusion that it's all romance, and no. If you're not prepared to work at your relationship, let me tell you, my husband and I work every single frigging day. Every day. Like, and what does that look like when I say work? It means we actively want to be conscious in our communication, and we F up. And when we F up, we own it. And I'll come back and say to him, that wasn't my finest communication with you. I'm sorry that I criticized you. I'm sorry I said it that way. I was in fear. Right? It's that level of communication. And this takes time, it takes courage, and it takes a commitment to the relationship. So that's the key there. Don't go in it thinking that it's all going to be easy, and it should be easy. No, it shouldn't, because if it's easy, then you're not. It's that simple, right?
So, with regards to that, what would you say are some of the steps if somebody struggles with communication and if they're at that point where they're like, I get really emotional really quick. If I'm feeling frustrated, I act out of frustration, or I'm angry, I act angry. How would you say to be able to work at that in order to communicate, not necessarily in the moment if that's not useful, or I don't know, what are some maybe tips for people?
Yeah, it's a brilliant. I love the way you unpick things, Matt, and so I absolutely love it. Thank you. Yeah, it's a really good tip. Firstly, you've got to be aware that that's what's happening. It took me ages to figure out that I was the crazy lady because I was angry,
Mm.
or I was tired, or I was hungry. It took me ages to work that out. Like, please give yourselves a break. It does take time, right? And then if you're seeing a repeated pattern, I would start to ask yourself questions. Why does this keep happening? Why am I triggered with this? I used to get triggered with the tone of my husband's voice, a certain tone. And it was only when it happened a few times that I was like, wait a minute, what is going on here? Why am I triggered with this? And it was because it was the same tone that it was used by a man as a child that was unsafe. So this is where doing the work on yourself to find out this stuff and then communicating it to your partner, but not in the moment. You hit it right there. It's never in the moment. You both have to be in a really cool place,
Mm.
right? Never in the moment. Always when you're both calm. Always when you're both calm.
So there's a question that I saw came in just before we did the live, and somebody was saying about the dating scene and how it's really challenging. And they said, how do you manage to find a person where you have the same values? Because what they're finding is social media and like dating apps all feels very like surface level, and it's hard to actually know if you're aligned, if you have the same values in this modern world where it feels like everything's based on just surface level conversations and pretty pictures and things like that.
Mm.
What would you say your suggestion is to help somebody actually get out there and find the right, well, find a good match, I guess?
Yeah, it's a great question. Values, firstly, alter as we get older. So be aware that what somebody's values are at the beginning may not be theirs later down the line, right? So I've been with the same man for 3 decades. His values have changed, so have mine, right? So there's this value thing is a constant moving thing. But there will be some fundamental values like you both want children or you don't, like you believe in traditional roles or you don't, like you believe in 50-50 or you don't, right? So I would firstly say to yourself, do you actually know your values? Like,
Mm.
get clear on your values because you can't communicate that with somebody else if you're not clear, right? So get clear on your values. The second piece is we get so scared to ask. Like, just be genuinely curious and say, what are your values? What do you believe are how do you want your relationship to be? And it's okay, there's no judgment. How do you want your relationship to be? And then the other piece is sometimes people will say what they think you want them to, what they think you want to hear. I would be mindful of their actions, not in a judgy way. Like for me, I love having a man who has old fashioned ways of treating a woman, opens the door for me, pulls the chair for me. Not that I'm not capable of doing that, but if I'm, say, I was dating again and I was with a man that didn't do that, that for me would be a bit, not sure that that's right for me. No judgment on him whatsoever. But that's just a little example, right? So think about the conversations. If your values are families really high and they are a lot of the conversation talking badly of their family, might not be a match.
And I think this follows on perfectly too, because I think that the question that it raises then is, why do people not honestly communicate what they truly want? Why do people hold back and say what they think they're supposed to say to please the other person instead of live their truth? So why do you think people do that? And importantly, if they recognize I do that, I am always just trying to people please or say the right thing to be accepted rather than tell the truth about what I really am looking for, how can they start to be more confident and have the courage to be themselves?
You've hit the nail on the head in the question, confidence and courage, because people are doing it from fear. It's scary to say the truth because what if you get rejected? If you get rejected on the first or second day, it's a blessing because they're not a match, right? So many people, they worry about being rejected when actually it's not even rejection, it's protection. The universe is protecting you from not being with the person you're not meant to be with. It's saving you a lot of time and heartache and headache, right? So just know that the fear of no often stops us from speaking our truth because of past rejection. I would invite you to reframe a no. A no to me is either protection or redirection. So if you're getting a no because you're being honest, you're being protected or redirected. It's not a blessing.
And that's massive. I think that in itself, I mean, I was speaking about this the other day about how what people tend to do is be so fearful of being alone that they will just try and fit into that other person's expectation because they'd rather have somebody than nothing. But we know that that doesn't lead to true fulfillment, true happiness, and true love. So it's really important to not see it as a rejection or, like you're saying there perfectly, go, actually, this is needed because now I'm one step closer to finding a match versus wasting valuable time, precious time with somebody who's just not. I can see here as well, Gavin Larry, shout out to my main man, Gavin, who's over on Instagram. He's just put a question in the chat box as well. So Gavin said here, we've been together for 21 years with my wife. But at this stage of our relationship, our lives are so busy with work. It's taking a little toll as we both can't give the attention to each other as much as we want. So he's not actually put a question there. It's more a statement. But I think following on from that, is there any advice?
Yeah, 100%. It's a brilliant one. And it's something that really follows on, obviously always does, beautifully from your last thing, because I wanted to comment on that. And that is, it also is relative to even if you're in a long-term relationship, which is if you aren't able to give the attention to your relationship that it needs because work is taking over, I would ask you to question what is the most important partnership in your life, right? And if that is work, leave. Because if you want to have a healthy relationship, and I get it, I've been at that 21 year mark where life is just busy. You're both building your careers, and often you've children there young then as well. So I get it. And I wish somebody had told me this back then. And that is, if I don't invest that time, and it's not a lot of time, but it's intentional time. Once a week, date nights. Once a week, business meetings. If you don't invest that time, I'm telling you, your work will not flourish because the data shows that 80% of productivity is reduced when your relationship isn't on track. Fuck. Excuse my French. So what does that mean? It means that if you put investment into your marriage, into your relationship, consistently, regularly, your productivity in work is going to increase by 80%. Right?
I've got so much to say to this, Dimple, because I remember the way you phrased it to me probably a couple of years ago. The first time I heard you say it is you said, this is the biggest business hack on the planet. Right? And I want to comment on this because I've been not in 21, 22 years like Gavin, but I've been in that position. You know, my longest relationship was just short of 7 years, where I was in the early stages of building a business, and it takes so much from you. And I'm going to call anybody out. It just so happens to be Gavin now because he asked the question. And I'm going to say it's absolute bullshit that you don't have time. It is just a misalignment of your priorities.
Yeah.
You've convinced yourself you have to work this hard and you've convinced yourself it's for the family, it's for the relationship.
Bullshit.
And it is bullshit because, and it sounds horrible, but if I put a gun to your head now and said, I'm going to pull the trigger unless you find an hour a day, you would find that hour.
Yeah.
Or if I put a gun to your child's head or whatever, sorry, that sounds awful, but it's to just make a point that if you valued it high enough, and that's not to say you don't value your partner, it's just because life gets in the way and we convince ourselves we don't have the time. And what we're talking about here is a realignment and reminding yourself of what you value the most. And I think that is, go on, sorry.
No, please, I interrupted you, please.
I think it's just really important to have that step away and just what you said perfectly there. And I think you spoke about Elon Musk before, you spoke about Tony Robbins. I resonated in my own life that actually when your relationship is failing, when you're having arguments, when you're having problems, because there will be time eating into your day one way or another. It'll either be through having a difficult conversation and falling out, or it will be from intentionally being present and working at the relationship, right? Either way, it's going to take time from you. It's just about being more intentional, right?
100%. And something that you said then, Matt, I really want to expand on is the illusion that, particularly for men, this illusion that you're in the phase of your manhood where you have to provide. And there's this illusion that providing is only done through economics, finances. And it's an illusion. What your woman needs is your emotional provision, your emotional connection. And believe it or not, the minute you gift her that how do you do that? Through your presence. What you will get back as a man is a millionfold. Like, I cannot stress enough that it is the biggest secret business hack on the planet. That emotional connection will give you peace. When you have peace in your own home, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Right? Because when your woman has peace, you have peace. And I'm not to say that you're dependent on your woman, you're not. Right? What I'm saying is, it's an illusion that you can only provide financially. And it's not the primary thing that we need. Right?
Yeah. And the thing is, life is so busy and we've been pulled from so many different angles that we allow ourselves to basically convince ourselves that we don't have the time. And like you're saying there, this illusion that, well, I'm doing this for us. And no. And I learned this the hard way. Like, your partner just wants to feel listened to, be heard. And I remember something else you said that really stuck with me, which was, it's not even about the length of time.
No.
It's the quality. I think you said something like, even just a few minutes with your husband, sometimes is all you need for the day.
I'm good. Like, we have pillow time. I've told you this, haven't I? We have pillow time, 9:30 most nights, right? I'm so tired at that point, right? And all I want to do is just lay on the pillow next to him and him looking at me, and it's just having a little 5-minute chat, and he might do this and stroke my head. Like, I'm asleep. Like, I'm so full on that because the whole day he's just giving me minutes, just pockets of where he brushes across my shoulder, or he'll just give me a cuddle for no reason whatsoever. That takes zero time. What it takes is intentionality.
So again, it's almost like another illusion that we convince ourselves they need so much from us, and I just don't have the time. It's not even about the time. It's about, like you said there, intentionality. There's a little bit of a different one here, Dimple, as well, over on Facebook. There's a couple of we've got Joe Newsom in the house. Thanks for being here, Joe. So Joe said, so my parents will be married 64 years next month. However, Joe says she's single and happy. But she asked, why does society make it so hard if you are single and happy? I guess she's maybe referring to there that people are, oh, are you going to settle down? Are you going to get a partner? Though it's
Yeah.
kind of that expectation. What are your thoughts on that?
So a couple of things. If you, the reality is that Joe is clearly facing people saying things like, society making it hard. So there's a couple of things. I believe that we're an energetic match for what we receive. Right? So if our beliefs are that society is making it hard for me, we're going to have evidence of it everywhere. Right? So I would ask you, Joe, is it Joe or Joanne?
Yeah.
I would ask you, where in your belief stream have you decided that society is going to make it hard for you? And is there a way that you can reframe that to actually, I love being single. I unapologetically love being single. And if somebody asks me about it, I'm just going to say how great it is. I'm not even going to be in the frequency of why are you making this hard for me? Like, you can push this stuff away just in your energy, just by going. And I know one of my dear friends is single. She's on Instagram, and her Instagram feed is like, I'm having the best time of my life. And she genuinely is, right? So anybody comes at her that's saying, oh, it's tough, why are you single and all that? She's like, this is my choice. I'm having the best time of my life. I'm sorry that you feel that that is a hard thing. It's so not for me. Own it. Like, really own it. Hope that answers the question.
Brilliant. We've got another one on Facebook then from Kelly. So Kelly asks, she says, my last relationship was a bad one and I got mistreated. So she asks, how do I overcome this and now find the right guy?
Great question, Kelly. Firstly, I'm sorry that you were treated badly in the last relationship. And then to overcome this, you need to heal you. So that means you need to get really clean in your energy on what was it that you felt wasn't working for you in that relationship. And how were you showing up? That's an ouch. I'm not saying that we deserve everything we receive. What I am saying is we're responsible for our actions. So how can you clean up your actions so that you are then an energetic match for a healthy relationship? Because unless you are 100% squeaky clean healthy, there's always going to be the potential that you will magnetize somebody who isn't healthy. You got to get really healthy. Like, we've all had shit in our lives, and I say this with so much love. Like, the way that I was raised was not the best role model of healthy relationships, but I chose to do the work. I chose to say, where am I showing up, role modeling that shit? And is that something I choose as my standard? And I promise you, you will find the right guy once you heal the shit that you've gone through, and once you decide what your standards are and how you show, and therefore showing up towards those standards. So I'll give you an example. I used to be the crazy lady with my husband, and I thought it was okay to behave like that. I've since learned it's not acceptable. That's not my standard anymore. It's not okay for me to rant and rave at him and expect him to deal with it, because I wouldn't like that back at me. So I get to manage the crazy lady, right? So this is taking radical self-responsibility where you want to grow, and it's a gift. It's a gift, because the woman you will become will be the most healthiest, happiest woman that will attract the same back.
So what about somebody that's not been on the dating scene for a while and now they are looking to get out there? They want to find the right person. Maybe they've done a lot of the self-work, But they're not sure where to go, where to find that match, where to look. Like, should they be on dating apps? Should they be looking for things in the local area? What would be some guidance for people now in terms of how they approach getting out there again?
Great question. There is no one size fits all. So what I want you to do is, if you're thinking of going on dating apps, for example, and it feels icky in your body, or it feels like, fuck, I don't really want to go on a dating app. It's not aligned for me. You're not going to be successful on a dating app. Don't waste your money or your time. However, if you're excited to go on a dating app and it's like, oh, I'm really excited to do this and this is the way I'm going to meet people, then it's aligned. If you are somebody who likes to have common hobbies with your partner, like walking or running or painting or reading books, right? Going movies, something like that. I would encourage you then to go to different clubs that you do that, right? And if that feels good and aligned, because it's really about alignment, only do things that feel good. And I know this sounds all airy fairy, but it's the truth. Everywhere in your life, if you've done things and you've got examples of things where it felt really good, it's always been successful. And the things that have felt shit, there's always some kind of shit show that goes on. Right? I mean, from your experience, Matt, you've done both, right?
Yeah. And I think there's something else that was coming to mind. And I just want to say as well, anybody that's just joining us, please get your questions in now. I know there's a bit of a lag time, so get them in quick and then we can answer them before we finish. But any questions about dating challenges, about relationships, about self-love and, you know, self-worth, those kind of questions, anything that you struggle with right now, this is your opportunity to put those questions to Dimple and get some personalized answers. But I'm sure in asking those questions, there'll be other people that will be grateful you've asked, because there's similar things that we all find challenging. But yeah, I think one of the things that came to mind listening to you speak there is, when you have been on the dating scene for a while, the next challenge is when you're putting yourself out there, and it takes a level of courage and confidence to keep on going on that first date. And also prior to that, I know a lot of people struggle with the whole messaging back and forth and it not really leading anywhere. What that can lead people to is this feeling of like dating fatigue, and it's like, maybe I'm never going to find the right one, and maybe time's running out. And it can be easy just hearing someone say, oh, just keep the faith and keep going. But people just go, do you know what? Maybe I'm not going to find the right one. Maybe I am past it now. Or, these are very real thoughts that people have when they keep having the energy and the courage to put themselves out there, invest in someone, and then bit by bit they go, no, we're not aligned again. What would you say to people that are at that stage now? How do they remain optimistic, open, and proactive?
This is going to sound harsh, but I'm just going to say it. Stop. Stop. If you're in that energy of this is hard and I'm exhausted with it, your date's going to feel it. Too much effort being put in and not enough fun. Stop. Go have fun. Do what you love to do, and I guarantee you will meet the one having fun. Stop putting so much energy into dating. Like, go have fun. If you have dating fatigue, stop. It's like anything in life, right? If you have business fatigue, if you have body fatigue, let's take that as an example. You are now in an incredible relationship, which I love that you shared with the world. I'm so blown away and happy for you, right? And your beautiful lady trains people, right, to competition level, right?
Yeah.
And if your muscles are fatigued to the point where that you cannot use them anymore, what would her advice be, even to the competition level athletes?
Rest.
It's no different.
Right.
Take a break from the dating.
Mm.
It's not, the energy's off. Right? Go have fun. Rest your muscles, rest your body. Enjoy life. Remember who you are and why you're dating, what you've got to offer.
Right. And that then poses the question, because I'm thinking of a couple of friends now, and I know you work with a lot of people who are like, elite business owners working at a high level, and they're really ambitious. And I know of a lot of people in that kind of category that have taken a rest from dating, that have gone all in on working on themselves and business, to the point now where they're like, oh, I don't really know where to fit in time to start looking again and going out there. And they're at an age where they're going, I actually want to have somebody else in my life right now, but I've got so much going on with my business, and it's exciting and it's moving. How do I start to, what would you say to them? Because I know there's a few people in that position.
Prioritize fun. Not in your business, fun. It's really hard, especially like I'm married to a serial freaking entrepreneur. His fun is business.
Right, yeah. And this is the thing, right?
Business. He would do business all day long, right? And the other day we went out and we had a date day, and we just sat in Manchester having a nice meal, not an expensive place, just a local like Italian, right? And he said to me, it's been ages since we've done this. It's so fun. I said, I know. This is what you need. This is what normal human beings do. Fun. Right? Go have fun. Like we actually, and I'm taking the piss a little bit out of him, just jokingly, but actually we do play games. We have fun. Go have fun. Do what you like to do, but prioritize fun. It's something that's missed, massively missed, especially in entrepreneurs who love to work. I love to work. But like I've said to you, I've taken a whole month out. I'm having the time of my life. As we were setting up, you heard me ask Kira, what do you want for your tea? You want pasta or a jacket potato? Like you was,
yeah.
Because I'm really enjoying being a mum and cooking and like creating nice meals and like.
And you create great meals. I remember when you made that food for us, it was so amazing.
Right?
But I think that's only going to then, as we were speaking about earlier, and we spoke about, like I was saying, Elon Musk, Tony Robbins, like when their relationship's suffering, their business suffers, you're only going to come back more energized, more focused, and the business is no doubt going to grow massively because you took that time. But then let's go to the flip side.
Yeah.
What about the people who...
Sorry.
Go on. Yeah. No worries.
When you're having fun, you're in the frequency of fun. And the frequency of fun is the creative frequency. And you actually get more ideas for your business when you're having fun. And therefore, you're a match to receiving that.
So true.
It's actual science. I'm not just saying go have fun for have fun. There's like the number of ideas that me and my husband have had on dates, right? It's just mind-blowing. So I just wanted to add that for those.
Yeah, and I'll just... So I was speaking about this on a live recently, and it came to me while I was speaking the live, the realization of how important this was, because in my earlier years of building a business, so my initial business, for those who don't know, is an entertainment agency where we have like full-time staff working as part of our team, and we've got like offices and vans and PA and speakers and all these overheads, and it's been a massive undertaking for me, who set that up at 19. Wow. So I was of that mindset in my early 20s that I couldn't have days off, and if I took a break, like the competition would get ahead, maybe we'd get out of business, I won't be able to pay my staff and things like that. And as a result, I ended up, I can't remember the exact amount of time, but potentially I went a few years where I didn't have a proper holiday because of this fear. And it was January 2015, because that hasn't happened yet. That's next year. Who knows? Maybe it'll happen again. January 2015, that my partner at the time and I booked 10 days in Mexico. And I always remember that month when I went on a beach, chilled out, turned the phone off, stopped working, I discovered podcasts for the first time. And it sparked this catalyst of, I could do something like that. I'd love that. And it was this realization the other day on a live that everything I've done, the people I've met, the people I've helped, the coaching business, the podcast, the Guinness World Record I've broken, all these things, the catalyst was going on a holiday and getting that fun back and having that rest and having that time. And I was like, oh my God, I had all these years thinking the competition are going to get ahead, my business is going to fail. And actually, when I took that proper rest, some of the best ideas came to me, and so many incredible things have happened as a direct result. The other side I was going to speak about, because here we are going, oh, with these big businesses and you're taking a month off and I'm taking 10 days off. But actually, for a lot of people, the other side is, they'd love to be able to have more fun and more time off, and actually just getting through day-to-day life, knowing at the end of the month they can pay their bills and get through it, is a major pressure and a stress for a lot of people right now. So what would you say to them who are genuinely struggling financially and, struggling, maybe running 2 or 3 jobs and being parents, and they still have this relationship that they need to nurture, or maybe they're single and they need to find time to look for somebody? Where would the advice differ for them, perhaps?
It wouldn't. I would say, if you can't find time for fun, then your life will never change. You will always be on the rat race. And that sounds really harsh, but I have been on that rat race. I have been in a position where I couldn't even afford to buy a pair for my daughter. I have been there. So I get it. It doesn't look like it. I'm sat here, being able to take a month out of my business and still run it. It's because I did the leap of faith. It's because I practice what I preach. It's because I know that when I take a month off, I will quantum leap in my business. I know that I was going the wrong direction and I needed space. And this is the problem. People don't value space. Because you took space. It was a brilliant story and example. It's in the space that I get gifted the ideas. It's in the space because we allow the space for the idea to drop. If you're on the treadmill all the time of life, there's no space. All the ideas are bouncing around, but there's no space for them to drop, for you to hear them. So I'm sorry, but if that is your reality, that you don't have time for fun because you've got jobs and life, and it takes 5 minutes to put on some music and dance with your kids. I remember running full-time job for the NHS. I was also doing Thursday evening, I was doing a private clinic at the hospital, private hospital, and all day Saturday. And at the time, I had a 12-month-old baby, and my husband was working 24/7, so he was nowhere to be seen. I'm doing everything, and I still made time at tea time on the days that I had Maya to put some dance music on and dance. And those are the memories she remembers. And those are the ideas that I got, where I got the ideas to start my own business, to move in the ways I did. Right? Why are we here? Like, we have to understand this. Why are we here if not to live life? Because we're not living if we're on the rat race. We're on the rat race.
Just a quick shout out, anybody that's just joined us, this is your opportunity. If anyone's got any questions, we're going to be on for a few more minutes and then that's us done. So if you've got any questions for Dimple this evening, whether it be about dating and challenges you're facing right now as somebody that's maybe single and looking for love, if you're maybe in a relationship and you're going through some struggles and some challenges, or maybe if you just struggle with your inner peace and self-love and self-worth, any questions around that, please do feel free to share them in the comments, and we'll try and get some suggestions, some ideas to help you this evening. But I think something you said there, Dimple, that struck me while I was listening is, it doesn't matter what position you're in, and like when we understand life really gets tough for all of us in different ways at different times, and that is part of being human on this planet. But I think the key thing there is there's two things that have come out of a couple of these questions, which is to be present and to have fun doesn't need to take lots of time, and it also doesn't need to cost money. Dancing with your kids for a couple of minutes whilst making food, and I think that's the maybe again a bit of a lie we tell ourselves. I don't have time and I don't have enough money, but actually you can get really creative, and just the little things, the little moments can actually mean the most sometimes, right?
And also, it takes a little bit of effort. Like I used to spend hours when I was cooking, not all at once, but like collectively hours with my kids on the worktop, cooking with me, chopping, music on, right? Because that was a value that's really important to me that I wanted to know that they would learn, but I'd make it fun. Or I remember baking with them, and a neighbour's child would come to bake with us because every time we baked, once we'd put the cakes in the oven, we'd put the locomotion on. Everybody's doing it, right? And then she'd go home and ask her mum, why aren't you putting the locomotion on when we bake? Because she thought that was the norm,
Yeah.
right? Because once she'd played the locomotion a few times, it's done. The cakes are done, right? So there's little things that you can do that take zero time, but it's intentionality, right? And as a result, both my girls are incredible cooks. That matters to me.
Nice. I love that. So we've got a couple of comments that have come in and a question here. So I can see over on Facebook, we've got Leanne Miller in the house. So hello, Leanne. So Leanne's saying there, just referencing some of the earlier stuff we were saying, she said, was never really looking. But I used to think I'd never meet anyone because I don't go out. But the more I've done what I love, the more I've realized I'll meet someone who loves similar to me, traveling, adventuring. I'm still not looking, but I'm open to the universe. Currently watching you from the Isle of Arran. Yes, freedom and fun. I'm in Scotland for 6 weeks now with my girls. So that's absolutely amazing, isn't it? From Leanne. I can see,
And
is it
what a role
iPhone?
model! What a role model she's been for her girls, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
What a role.
Amazing.
Well done, Leanne.
We've got I for visuals. It says yes, it's so important to sit still. Referencing then earlier about the time to take rest, and to get away from all the madness and the noise to actually allow fun and creativity. And then Carol Whiteley here, she said, after a really toxic relationship, I really struggle with self-love. I'm learning to like me again, but dating is terrifying to me now, though. And I know from working with Carol personally, we're not just talking about a bit of a shit relationship. It was really horrible what she went through, and it is a slow journey for her. Is there anything you can maybe share to help Carol on that path now? We're starting to like herself again, maybe love herself again, and maybe even at some point dating, even though it's terrifying for her at the moment.
Yeah. What I would say to Carol, I'm sorry you went through that. What I would say to you is there's something that I've been playing with for a while now, and it's called mirror work. And what I would invite you to do, Carol, is spend 5 minutes every day in the mirror looking at yourself, ideally naked or just your underwear on. And I really want you to look at your body and talk to your body. Like, tell her that you love her. Tell her which bits you love. And look in your eyes and actually send love to your eyes through the soles of your eyes. This sounds really weird. I promise you, I promise you. Is connection lost or reconnecting? Hold on.
I can still hear you.
Going.
Oh, we just lost Dimple. Give it a second. I can see she's still on TikTok. Bear with us, folks. You're all right, Dimple. I can hear you on TikTok if you can hear me. So I can see Carol saying there, I don't even own a full length mirror. So maybe that's the next step, Carol. I'll just give it a few seconds now for Dimple to rejoin so that I don't end up saying a lot of stuff that she's going to miss. Bear with us, folks. Here we go. Can you hear me? Hang on, I'm just going to... Bear with us 2 secs.
Okay, so Facebook is still on, so I'm just going to keep going. So the mirror work, what I would suggest is 5 minutes every day, because we don't do this. Can I rejoin the link? Oh, yes, it's back. It's back. Okay. Perfect. Are we back on Facebook as well? Can't see you, Matt.
I can't see you, Dimple.
Know how to do the rejoining. Kira's just left. Okay, so let's make this the last question. I think we are complete for today. So I want to answer this one. So that is mirror work. Can you do mirror work every day? Tell yourself you love yourself. At first it's going to be really awkward, and 5 minutes we'll see one. Isn't the link on here? Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Yeah, you can hear her, everybody, because she's on TikTok on my other phone. That's how you can hear Dimple. What she's not actually rejoined the link, so just bear with us. I think she's jumping on it now. Should be here in a few seconds. Here we go. Testing 1, 2. Got ya. Yeah, perfect. There we go.
Amazing. Thank you, Cancer, for that prompt.
We got there. We got there in the end.
So yes, so mirror work every day. It's going to feel awkward. Have you ever done it, Matt, on a regular basis? Mirror work.
Not on a regular basis, and not naked.
Naked. Start looking at your body and going, I love you. And I'll tell you a funny story, okay? So I've started doing this work recently. And the funniest thing that happened, I was walking up, I wasn't naked. I was walking in the country just near my house, and there was a it's going to sound a bit like weird, but anyway, I'm just going to tell it now that I'm in the story.
You've come too far now. You got to finish it. I can see she's like regretting it.
Oh no, I don't put my brain in gear because I'm so in service of the actual story, like the point, right? Yeah. So anyway, I'm walking up the hill and I've got my leggings on, right, and a little crop top, and I had a t-shirt on over the top, and it's been boiling, right? And at the moment, I'm the heaviest I've ever been, right? And so, but I'm walking up, talking to myself, going, I love you, body. I love that you can walk up this hill and really take care of me. And I'm being intentional, because before then I'd be very critical. And I'd be like, look at the size of you, and how can you be wearing these leggings and blah, 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 right? And I got really hot. And I had about a 3-minute conversation with, should I take my t-shirt off? Should I take my t-shirt off? Should I not take my t-shirt? What will I look like? All that noise. In the end, I thought,
Oh no, I think we've lost her. We'll never know how the story ended. We might have to leave it there, guys. I think we've lost. Yeah, we've lost you again. Hang on, I'm just replying in a chat to Dimple. Hang on, let me just mute this one on there. So, guys, sorry that we've not been able to finish this. However, cliffhanger. Dimple and I have discussed if people want more, we'll do another live at some point anywhere, anyway, even. So do me a favor, let us know in the comments. Would you like to hear more from Dimple? And we'll get another live video done at some point soon. And I'm just going to leave you with this as well. Just something that was coming to mind that I was going to share when Dimple was speaking. Then I was listening to a podcast recently with, if anyone knows Rob Dial, the mindset mentor. He was on Lewis Howes, The School of Greatness. It's a slightly slightly different thing, but it was making me think how this can still apply to what Dimple was referring to there, which is about self-love. So on this podcast, they were speaking about how we're so judgmental naturally as humans and how we have something called negativity bias. So we always look for the worst in things. And Rob said that he recognized he was really judgmental. And so what he decided to do is anytime he sees somebody and immediately had a negative judgment of them, he then decided, as just a little bit of a mind experiment, but also to start to reprogram his brain to not just constantly look for the negatives, look for the positives. In that moment, he would pick 3 things that are positive about that person immediately. So it might be like, oh my God, look at them. They look stupid. Oh, but I actually quite like what they're wearing, or they seem really confident or really happy with who they are. Or he would choose to find these positives and have to, in that instant, because he'd had that negative judgment, find 3 positives. And then he said, I think he said something like somebody he was working with or whatever, she was the same. And what she decided to do is anytime that she had a negative judgment, is then follow it with, and I love you for it. And I know it might sound a little bit woo-woo, a bit weird, but I thought it was such an amazing thing because I think the example she said is a lady walked in who was quite a tall lady, and so she really stood out as looking quite unique, quite different. I think they said like she was like 6'3" or something like that. And her initial gut judgment was like, oh my God, that woman's really tall. And I love you for it. And I love her for it. And instantly what that did is just shift that negative judgment to go, yeah, and we're all unique. We all have flaws. None of us are perfect. And rather than judging them in a negative way, just say, and you're great as you are. And I just think listening to Dimple then, it made me think, not only do we need to do that about judging others, but we need to be mindful to do that when we judge ourselves. How often do we look at ourselves in the mirror and go, oh God, I look tired today. And oh God, well, why don't we pick 3 things actually we're proud of, or 3 things that are good about us, or 3 things we're glad to have? Or say, and I love you for it. Yeah, you look tired, and I love you for it. You've been working hard. You've been doing your best. You've been pushing yourself. Just something to consider. It's something that I heard a few days ago when I listened to this podcast, and it's just been on my mind a lot. It's really stuck with me. So there might be something in that people find useful. But again, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Sorry that we didn't manage to finish Dimple's story, but would love to know if you found that useful. And would you like to hear more from Dimple? Shall we do this again sometime? Let me know. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get something in at some point. But until then, thank you so much for listening. I hope you found it useful.